Squirrels dig up the yard, and we can't plant grass or keep grass.
I want to smack their little head. Someone else would kill them, I'd eat them, but I won't kill them. Yeah, that's how I think about squirrels. I hate them.
A lot of people come in, and their complaints are that the squirrels chew right through these plastic lids.
They keep digging up the turf, and they make a mess.
They were in the attic. They were getting in the attic through holes that they gnawed in the roof.
You could hear them pouncing in the walls and running around, and we were really worried that they would chew the wires.
It was really gross hearing their nails running across the floorboards. It was icky.
They really do a bad job on a good furniture.
You get bit by one, you're in bad shape.
I wish there was something that could be done to get rid of a large part of the squirrel population.
I'd like to take them all and dump them.
Kill them all. They're none but big rats anyway.
This is the trap. This baby, when the squirrel gets in there, it can't get out.
If you've got one in your attic, you may start seeing stains in your ceiling because the urine will go down and stain the wallboard, and it's an awful job to get rid of it.
It's a have-a-heart trap. Interestingly enough, it's made in Ossining, New York. That's the home of Sing Sing prison. Squirrel would come in, trigger that little plate, and down it goes, and then this falls down and holds it.
They can do an enormous amount of damage in a house, chewing and on the grates and just letting loose with their bowels.
He thinks that squirrels are probably something like aliens or something that are going to displace him and his family.
My dad's hatred towards squirrels I don't really agree with.
Now the technique is to spread the peanut butter as widely and as flatly as possible on a piece of bread.
But he's kind of set in his ways, and he'll do what he wants to do.
You want as much out there to evaporate and to give the odor in the air so that the squirrel runs in. More surface area.
He puts a little cage out there and tries to get him in there. And many times he gets him in there.
Anytime I see a squirrel in the cage, I let it go. I get a long stick and get the cage open and let it go.
And from there they are humanely destroyed.
What's the next step once they're in there?
Humanely destroying.
He's a good man, good family man, very involved in the community.
It used to be death by Toyota, a large leaf bag with this inserted and filled up with gas, and then that would asphyxiate them.
He's the kind of guy, I think he still plays in a pickup band that marches down in the parades, dressed in their pajamas or something, silly like that.
Now we have just a tub of water.
The killing pond, as he calls it.
We put it down and they're gone almost, maybe 10, 15 seconds.
It's such a nice, old, pretty town. There's a lot of old trees. It's a perfect place for these things to be running around.
The drowning is faster.
Okay.
And more humane.
There's a lot more notable people in town, judges, doctors and judges in town, that use this practice to much more of an extreme, up to 3 to 4 traps open every day.
It's so filled with Clorox and everything else so it doesn't attract bugs that it's just turned black.
So the Clorox doesn't have anything to do with the squirrel, it's more...
It keeps it from getting funky.
I play in a band with the tuba. That has nothing to do with squirrels. It doesn't attract them, it doesn't repel them either.
If you had a squirrel in your house and you couldn't get it out, you would call an exterminator or something like that, and it's in their business. They have to dispose of it some way, so they probably have a killing pool of their own, so I mean, there's no real difference.
It is illegal to take a squirrel and transport it to another place, like letting it out in a park or letting it out somewhere else. Because in the first place, the parks are overrun with squirrels. The rule is, and the law is, that you have to humanely destroy them.
I was explained by him one time that relocation is strictly prohibited by law.
Because of the rabies and so forth. So it's actually, I think the Humane Society suggests that you drown it.
Drowning is not acceptable euthanasia in the state of New Jersey.
That's what he tells me. I don't know.
You know, if somebody found out about it, they could be in a lot of trouble for doing that.
A person can be subject to being prosecuted for causing the death of an animal.
Every time he sees a squirrel, it's like he sees blood, and he wants that thing dead. Not dead or alive, dead.
There could be large monetary fines, community service, and in extreme cases there could be jail time associated.
Well, live and let live, I say.
I shot one once with a BB gun, and but there are people right here in beautiful downtown Haddonfield that use shotguns on them.
He was such a bad shot, he never really got any with the neighborhood. I mean, our houses are, 10 yards apart from each other. It's kind of dangerous. It didn't bother him, but I think the neighbors might have been upset about that.
There's people with, you need a fairly high-powered BB gun, but they're shot daily, I would suppose.
I feel that if he lived down under, as they say about Australia, that he would probably be heartily against marsupials.
If you want to see a squirrel go nuts, take the trap out to a parking lot, a big one, on a Sunday where there's no cars, and go to the middle of the parking lot and let it go. It can't find a tree, it can't find anything, and it's sad.
I don't understand that one either, but with no trees around, I guess the squirrel is really freaked out, and he, I guess he had a sinister laugh when that happened.
I was bitten by it. I was walking to school one time, and I had some peanuts and a kid. This squirrel was right there, and I leaned over. I was trying to be nice to the damn things. I'll tell you, they have sharp teeth.
I think he captured one or a couple of them and dumped them off either the Ben Franklin or the Walt Whitman Bridge.
And then he will drive them to a local creek, waterway, reservoir, pond.
And drop the cage with the squirrel in it and wait until the bubbles stop.
These are legends.
I always used to wonder if he'd ever rig up some electronic squirrel zapper.
If the population of squirrels got down to next to nothing, I wouldn't bother.
I can envision him peeking out his window with a switch and, waiting for Mr. Squirrel to come sauntering across like a windowsill or something like that, flipping the switch.
When townships have a problem with raccoons or something like that, they probably take care of thousands at a time. We're talking about, maybe 5 or 10 a month.
Like anyone who you would consider a friend, they probably have qualities about them that you don't appreciate, but not enough that you don't want to remain their friends. But you push it to the side because otherwise he's a real great guy.
We all have our dark side. I mean, maybe I'm the kind of person that picks his nose a lot in the car. And that's not really a dark side, that's kind of a human side. Right. But it's sort of, really, you can't really compare the two, I guess.
Not really a bad guy, but a little off center, I would say.
He thinks it's part of being a good citizen and taking care of these squirrels. I think he thinks he's doing a favor to the community.
They are a threat to health, and they're just, for me, they're just an annoyance and somewhat of a challenge.
Not everyone is going to love every one of God's creatures.
I think he needs an animal out there that threatens him.
He is a caring man. He just doesn't care for squirrels.
I don't think this is, in his viewpoint, anything other than being a good citizen.
If you were attacked now, would you say that's karma?
No. I just hope God is not a squirrel.